Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. 3 teams predicted to have interest in Cowboys QB Dak Prescott. The Dallas Cowboys are heading into the 2025 season hoping for a much better season than they've had the past few years. The team finished 7-10 for the 2024 season, and they were without franchise quarterback Dak Prescott for much of it due to injury, which certainly didn't help. Many view Prescott, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons as some of the best players on the Cowboys squad, and with that honor comes other teams expressing interest in the players that could be available. One NFL expert and analyst is explaining why 3 teams could be interested in doing a blockbuster trade for Prescott, who is obviously one of the strongest quarterbacks in the league. Some options for Cowboys QB Dak Prescott in a March 26 feature for the Laundry Hat. Ryan Heckman lays out 3 teams he believes could be interested in working out a massive Prescott trade with the Cowboys. In the piece, he begs the question, if the Cowboys were actually considering doing the unthinkable, which teams would make sense? One team he mentions is the Tennessee Titans, which just signed longtime NFL quarterback Tim Boyle to a new deal. This will actually mark the 8th NFL team for Boyle, so he's been around the block, so to speak. The veteran started in the NFL in 2018 as an undrafted free agent. The Titans still need a franchise quarterback, though, and that's where Prescott comes in. While Heckman points out that since the Titans have the first overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, they're largely expected to pick up Miami quarterback Cam Ward. But they could still want Prescott. But if they thought the roster was ready to compete now, and to be truthful, there are some solid parts in place, particularly on defense, then Prescott does make sense, he adds. Next up, it's the Cleveland Browns, with Heckman noting that the Browns have been stuck in quarterback purgatory for what seems like forever, and the Deshaun Watson trade could be made right by somehow pulling off a deal for Dak. However, Heckman explains that he just doesn't think this move would make sense money-wise. On top of that, the Cowboys camp seems to be already squashing any rumors that they're willing to trade Prescott to the Browns. I run it all down when working this beat, and the Dallas Cowboys are not working on trading Dak to the Browns, Jane Slater of NFL Network shared in a message on X. In fact, texts with 2 sources tell me fake news and absolutely not before this gets any sort of wheels. Prescott to the Steelers? Finally, what about the Pittsburgh Steelers? It seems to be the general consensus that the Steelers, who are waiting to hear from Aaron Rodgers, could want in with Prescott. Prescott is younger and, quite frankly, the much better option over Rodgers at this point, Heckman notes. Dak would make the Steelers a legitimate Super Bowl contender, without question. Frankly, the Steelers have been strong the past few seasons, and the idea of a vet like Prescott being there to be the glue that brings that team together has to be appealing to the Steelers. Time will tell, but many Cowboys fans hope Prescott stays with the franchise. Cowboys bad news coming from Micah Parsons Hints Insider. The Dallas Cowboys have had over a year to brace for an eventual Micah Parsons contract extension. It's that time now, and it seems they are in the same place they were last year, nowhere. The Cowboys' defensive star has paid his dues with the team and proven his loyalty, specifically last season when he returned from a 4-game absence and led the rallying cry for what was otherwise a defeated Dallas team. Pre-free agency, there was one positive sign for a potential deal. Dallas acted quickly to retain defensive lineman Osa Odigizua, ensuring he did not hit the open market. The Cowboys then opened up more salary cap space when they restructured the contracts of Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. All those moves gave the feeling that something big could be coming. However, the major free agency wave has passed with no deal in place. According to Cowboys reporter Saad Youssef of The Athletic, that has made matters more difficult for the team. If the Cowboys got the extension done with Parsons before free agency, the results of free agency wouldn't be part of the negotiations, Youssef said. However, free agency came and went. The Cowboys freed up cap space in the days leading into the league's new year but didn't use that to sign anybody who would make a significant difference or ease the load off Parsons. The site adds, Parsons, who has already been prone to being absent for voluntary off-season activities, could hold out of voluntary and mandatory team activities. We would add this, that was already going to be in play, regardless of whether Dallas made blockbuster moves at the start of free agency. So we're not sure that suggesting that Micah will be especially upset by the lack of major moves and will therefore skip OTAs has much validity. Indeed, what if Dallas did sign Micah to a $40 million APY early on with him assuming that more big deals were on the way and then nothing happened? Wouldn't he be just as especially upset then? Parsons' contract extension came with two goals: for him to get his deserved raise and earn that deal with an upgraded roster around him. The first has not been achieved, and through the last few weeks, it is hard to argue that objective has been reached in full. Myles Garrett and Max Crosby both got major paydays at the start of free agency, meaning the price for Parsons went up. Seeing that and a lackluster campaign to acquire new talent is not ideal for either side. By the end of the offseason, Parsons and the Cowboys will likely have come to terms, and this will be a matter of the past. But this sequence of events has not marked the dream offseason that Cowboys Nation or Parsons himself had in mind. Cowboys have an obvious Jordan Lewis replacement nobody is talking about. While the Dallas Cowboys have added 10 new players to the roster since the start of free agency, they also lost several key contributors, a list that includes nickel cornerback Jordan Lewis, who signed a 3-year, $30 million with the Jacksonville Jaguars. In an attempt to make up for the loss of Lewis, Jerry Jones struck a deal with the Buffalo Bills to acquire Kare Elam, who never lived up to his status as a first-round pick, number 23 overall, in 2022. And how effective will that move really be? For one, while Elam says he can play nickel, he's always been more of a perimeter player and is expected to compete with Kalen Carson for a spot in the starting lineup if Trayvon Diggs isn't ready to go at the start of the 2025 season. And secondly, it's not as if Elam is an elite defender, especially in coverage, as he's never earned a PFF grade in that particular category higher than 66.0. And that was in his rookie season, which is also the last year he recorded an interception. So, there's that. Currently, the starting nickel corner on the Cowboys' depth chart is Keeman Hall, who didn't take a single defensive snap for Dallas a season ago, with all of his playing time coming on special teams. So, that's no good, either. There is an option out there, however, but Jones may have to pony up a little more dough than he'd like to bring him in. With the Cincinnati Bengals spending all sorts of money to keep their offense intact, veteran corner Mike Hilton was shown the door and has yet to find a new home. And that's a bit surprising, as the 8-year veteran earned a 75.9 overall PFF grade in 2024, which ranked 23rd among all cornerbacks, and a 91.5 grade against the run, which ranked first. Hilton is a little weak in the pass rush department, but the Cowboys wouldn't need him for that anyway. Like Lewis, he excels in the slot and would seemingly easily slide into the starting lineup on day one. The 31-year-old isn't the ballhawk Lewis is, but he still has 13 career interceptions to his name to go along with 520 tackles, 66 tackles for a loss, 56 passes defended, and 11.5 sacks. The issue for Jerry Jones, of course, would be money. Spotrac currently lists Hilton's market value at $12.3 million per season, which Jones likely won't want to pay, especially with Lewis making less money with the Jags. But if Jones wants to put some of that remaining salary cap space to use to actually improve this team, he'd be wise to at least consider making this move. And you, fan? What do you think about Mike Hilton's situation? Write to us in the comments.